The 764th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Just go to edgeboost.bet and use promo code SGPN. And finally, we're brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Heidi ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 764 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to, let me think, Glenn, no, I had a better name on YouTube, Gucci Sosa. On
Is that Glenn Pipe? You can give a shout out to Glenn Pipe.
Glenn Pipe's good too, but Gucci Sosa wanted something wanted some picks for Wow FC, whatever that is.
Oh, I know Wow FC. We could have
you should have answered them then.
And Wow FC, sorry, it was a long week. Kids were sick. It was one of those weeks. Wow FC usually has odds on one of the offshore books that we sometimes talk about in the Discord.
Oh, really? Wow, we haven't covered Wow. Maybe in one of these slow weeks we will cover Wow. This is not a slow week. This is our 5th regional event that we're covering for this coming weekend for you. Finally, we've made it to Saturday. We got a Saturday event. Oktagon 67. One of our, I was going to say secret and low key, but no, we're pretty upfront about it. One of our favorite promotions around, perhaps our most favorite of all regional promotions is Oktagon, and they have Oktagon 67 going down in Třinec with there's a lot of different accents. The accent above the R, which is not something you see accents above very often. Třinec, Czech Republic, on Saturday, noon Eastern start time. UFC, I just checked. UFC's in Seattle, and it starts at 6 p.m. So this will be good. This will be a good
little appetizer.
Treat. Yeah, a little appetizer, a little tailgate. You can boost up your bankrolls leading into the UFC, because Gumby is an expert on the regional MMA, and this would be one of the events that one of the promotions he's very good at. I don't think we introduced ourselves. I would be still snowed in Jeff Fox. He is Daniel Gumby Reeland. And this is Oktagon 67 that we're going to be covering. Good fight card, Gumby. I checked them. They must be in a decent size arena, because it looks like a pretty good fight card. Championship fight, tip sport, game changer fights. Two tip sport game changer fights. Maybe not the best ones on there. Like, we already had the champ fight and move his place up, and maybe the guy we would consider the number one contender outside of the champ to win the tournament already fought. So maybe not the two top fights, but 2 fights for the tip sports game changer. They're clearly trying to build out their flyweight division, which I actually talked with Sam Creasey about on the most recent episode of the Top Turtle MMA podcast. So check that out in your podcast catcher of choice. These are, it's a good challenger. It's a good champion. Winner's probably going to fight Shalga Shumagulov, who we love talking about. Yeah. He's got mouths to feed, remember? He does have lots of mouths to feed. Most of them married to him.
Yeah, most of them are married to him. It's an exciting fight card. A lot of good fights. David Kozma's back. That's fun. I'm excited. I'm always excited about Oktagon. It is, as you said, if not our favorite, probably tied with them and LFA neck and neck for my favorite.
You sound like you're hosting your other show, saying it's your favorite segment. No, it's tied for your favorite segment. He doesn't do that shtick anymore. Maybe we can steal it for our show. So this should be a good episode. All our episodes are good, but this should be an even better episode for you. Before we move on to it, are you looking for free daily picks for college-based basketball or baseball? Baseball has started. Gumby informed me college baseball has already begun. In the dead of winter, college basketball, NBA, college baseball, NHL, and more. Download the SGPN app free in your app store. We have picks for all of that stuff. So check out our app. It's you won't be disappointed for sure. All right, we got mouths to feed too. So let's dive into Oktagon 67. As I said, Saturday noon Eastern. If you want to go to it, it is taking place in the Verk, it's pronounced, arena in Třinec, Czech Republic. 11 bouts. We're covering basically half of them. We're giving you in-depth on 5 of them. Then Gumby has 6 to choose from for his lightning round. We're starting off. This first one is a backup fight, right? For the tournament.
Reserve fight. Yeah.
The reserve fight for the middleweight. We're talking about the tip sport game changer middleweight tournament. you haven't heard of Tipstore Game Changer before, $1 million prize to whoever wins the tournament.
€1 million euro.
Yeah, so it's even better prize to the winner. So you want to win one of these things. So this one is opening the card as a. Well, actually, it does. I was going to say they may have to fight later, but no, it's just opening the card. Milan Ďatelinka. He is from the Czech Republic. Jamie Cordero from Germany. That's pretty much the two spots that most of the Octagon fighters are from. They have a lot of Germans, a lot of Czech Republic, because Czech Republic is where they actually are situated. And more importantly for all you people, we have odds that have dropped already, which is good. Ďatelinka is Mr. Comeback. 10-7 with 1 no contest, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. So he's finished every one. And he's been finished in every fight except for the no contest. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted 4 times. He owes his rounds. Damn it. 8-3 in Octagon. 2-0 and 1 no contest over his last 3. 2-3 and 1 no contest over his last 6. No contest came in his last fight against this very same man, Cordero. Legal strikes to the back of the head was what caused the or inadvertent shots to the back of the head is what caused the no contest. Ďatelinka has not lost since November 2022. He used to fight at 170. 2013 Pro MMA debut. 4 inches height, 4 years younger than Cordero, plus 110. Cordero 7-2 with 1 no contest, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once. 6-2 and 1 no contest in Octagon. 2-0 and 1 no contest over his last 3. Won his last fight via submission. Used to fight at 170 as well. Minus 130. So a close fight to kick things off.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jamie Cordero. I would tell everybody who's interested on betting either side of this fight to just bet with caution. Both of these guys have big knockout power, like the ability to knock anybody out all the time. The only reason I slightly favor Cordero in this one, and I mean, the books do too, right? Like they're pretty much right there with me, is that like he's quicker to his target in his striking. So like Ďatelinka's a little bit long sometimes when he's throwing wider hooks, sort of a little bit of a wind up on that. Whereas Cordero is very tight with everything he throws. Now he is a little bit shorter too, which could be a little bit of an issue, especially because he throws a lot of hooks. It might mean that he does have to get in there on the inside, but also like his ground game has looked good lately too. You know, he's coming off that Kimura win in his last fight, which he kind of pulled out of nowhere. I do think his ground game is maybe good enough to take Ďatelinka down because, you know, Ďatelinka's grappling has looked good enough lately, but if you want to go back to his fight with Dominic Umberger, who's also going to be fighting this weekend, and you can check out our breakdown of his fight on our KSW episode, just go back a half dozen or so.
Yep.
Yeah, because we've covered a lot this week. And so, you know, if you go back to that fight, you know, he put up almost no defense to the Dominic Umberger's takedowns, particularly early in that fight. So, like, I kind of think Cordero's grappling might play up too. He's very physically strong, which, you know, you sort of can be when you're 4 inches shorter than your opponent and you weigh the exact same as he does. So between, like, you know, just being a little bit straighter to the target, being a little quicker to the target, and then also just having, like, a strength and, you know, slight grappling advantage, I think Cordero's got a lot of ways to win here. But again, even though I'm saying he's, like, got an advantage here and here and here and here and here, like, yes, that sounds great, but just be aware Ďatelinka could absolutely shut people's lights off, as could Cordero. So no matter what side you're on here, just, you know, be careful.
Be careful. Don't blow your whole bankroll on this fight.
This fight, definitely not.
90% people are in on Cordero. Did he? I guess the first fight only went like a minute or something, right?
Yeah,
so
it only went 29 seconds, I think. There wasn't really much to do there. I just think, you know, and this is why when I'm guessing odds on some of the past episodes, you can see, and sometimes you see like 90% on one side, and I'm like, no, it'll be a slight favorite or something like that. It's like instances like this where like Ďatelinka's got big knockout power, and the books recognize the worry there. But like if you just look at the record and the recent results, I mean, like Cordero looks way better, right? He's 7-2. He's coming off of a submission win, even though he's like not a submission specialist and stuff like that. And Ďatelinka had a 3-fight losing streak in the recent past. So like, yeah, of course, the Tapology folk like Cordero here.
Yeah. All right, we're sticking with middleweights. This is an actual tournament fight now, not a reserve fight. This is the Tipstore Game Changer first round fight, middleweight tournament. Andreas Michailidis, perhaps you've heard of him. He is from Greece. He is up against Mark Hulme. So Demetrius Johnson's coach, right? Mark Hulme?
No, that's
that's Mark Hulme, right?
Mark Hulme, yeah, without
Hulme.
the L.
This is Hulme. Yeah, this gentleman is from South Africa. 3 5-minute rounds in the tournament. And we'll tell you about Hume first. 12-3. This is basically a pick 'em. Hume is 12-3 with 7 submissions. He's never been finished in a fight. This is his debut in Oktagon. He's won 4 straight. He's not fought in a little bit, about 13 months. January 2024 was his last fight. He's not lost since March 2021. He went 0-1 on the Ultimate Fighter, so he has technically fought, and he did technically lose his last fight, but that was in the house.
Guillotine choked by Paddy McCrory too.
Yes.
For those of you who are wondering.
He was regional champ. Used to fight at 170, 2014 pro MMA debut. 6 years younger than Michailidis, 2 inches taller, -110. Michailidis is the Spartan. 16-8, 7 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's been knocked out 5 times, submitted once. 3-2 in Oktagon. He has lost 2 straight and only won 4 of his last 9. Was a regional champ. Used to fight at 170 and 205. 2009 was his pro MMA debut. He's got an inch of reach over Hume, and he did fight in the UFC. I thought he was going to be pretty good, but he only went 1-3 in the UFC. 1-3 in the UFC, 0-1 in Bellator, and he's at -115. So basically a pick-em here.
One time he fell out that door and got TKO'd.
That's
remember?
Right.
Yeah,
Famous.
He was fighting Modestas Bukauskas and went to lean against the door, and somebody opened it. He fell out of it, and the ref thought he was out, which is a weird one. Congratulations to Modestas Bukauskas on that win. I like Michailidis a lot. I couldn't believe this was a close line. For me, if you watch Mark Holm fight, it's like it's grapple or bust for me on him. It's like the only way I can see him winning. Like, he's not going to stand and trade with people and beat him all that often, at least not the level of people you're going to get in the Tip Sport Game Changer. And like, Michailidis went to the finals of the previous Tip Sport Game Changer down a weight class. He did lose to Bojan Veličević, actually two Tip Sport Game Changers ago. He did lose to Bojan Veličević, which is like, halfway decent loss. And then he decided to move up to middleweight. And we've now seen what it looks like at him at middleweight. He got to debut against Wawrzyniak, which, by the way, huge ask in your debut in the division. And he largely defended the takedowns of Wawrzyniak. And I mean, I don't know how many of you guys have ever heard me talk about Oktagon. Maybe this is your first time, but like, I'm a big Wawrzyniak fan. Like, I really think he has a good chance of winning this Tip Sport Game Changer, largely just because I think he can wrestle almost everybody. And he really struggled with Michailidis. And so, like, Michailidis' hands, I think, are infinitely better than Mark Holm. And then when you add in that he should just be able to stuff the takedowns of Holm and force him to throw, I think that's trouble. And then in addition to that, like, Holm, because he is, not entirely one-dimensional, but, like, one dimension is much better than the others, is like, we saw what happened on The Ultimate Fighter because of that. Like, he leaves himself susceptible to being choked out because, like, people know what he's going to do. Paddy McCrory knew what he was going to do and jumped on the neck. I think Michailidis could do that too. He's, less apt on the subs, but I think that's an option here for him as well. But yeah, -115 on Michailidis, I think, is quite a gift.
That's what we like to hear. We like to give these gifts. All right, before we move on, SGPN is partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. The best part is no credit checks and it's completely free. Sign up today and use the promo code SGPN so you get better cashback rewards and instant tier 2 status so you can use your Edge Boost rewards on Al Horford prop plays like we do. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN, edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And MyBookie.ag, we are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport, plus props for every game and the live dealer casino. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. They don't say void in Ontario. Easy deposits and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Al Horford prop bets, damn right. MMA lines, damn right. They got it all. So when you head to MyBookie.ag, make sure you use our promo code MMASGPN. That's MMASGPN. For 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code MMASGPN. All right, the second Tip Sport Game Changer fight we're going to cover today, Miloš Petrošević. Petrošević, a lot of accents all over different letters in his name as well. He is from the Czech Republic. He is up against Mick Stanton from England, a name you may be familiar with. 3 5-minute rounds. Let's break her down. I'll tell you about Petrášek first. Milan Meloun, which translates to melon, is his nickname. Does he have a big melon, Gumby? Is that why he's that? Does he eat melons? Why is he melon? You're muted as well, which is great.
I just said I wish I could tell you multiple times, and then I was shaking my head.
You use your melon, all right? You didn't use your melon there at all. All right, this gentleman, Petrášek, is 13-7, 4 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 4-4 in Oktagon. He's won 2 of 3 and 2 of 6, which doesn't sound quite as good. A win-loss win over his last 3. His last loss, was October 2022. 2012 Pro MMA debut. 1-0 in pro boxing. 3 inches height over Stanton, 7 years younger, even money, plus 100. So we're getting some good odds here. This is some good matchmaking on Oktagon. So that's another thing it's always another thing we always compliment Oktagon on. The Hoyton Hammer Stanton. I take he's from Hoyton, England, right?
I think that's a place. I don't actually know that that's a place. So
Hoyton,
I'm going to say yes, maybe.
Yes, maybe. He's 13-8, 6 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once, submitted 4 times. 1-0 in Oktagon. He's won 4 of 5, including his last fight via TKO. He was the Cage Warriors champion for quite a while, I believe, right? I think he had a run with it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, regional champ. Used to fight at 170 and 205. 2-1 in pro grappling, minus 125. So another tight odds, which, like I said, we like.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Mick Stanton. Man, this was a tough one for me, mostly just because, Mick Stanton's such a weird fighter to try to break down because he's always reaching for his punches and sometimes his takedowns don't look that good. And, often if you just watch little clips of him fighting in isolation, you're like, man, what's he doing out there? I'm very confused about why his record looks like it does. And then he scrambles to really great positions and does damage. And that's the thing for me is he's I don't know what the right word for it is. He's like Weasley. He gets out of the position.
The Hoyton Weasel.
Yeah, he's just like a little Weasley. And he gets to the right position at the end of the day. And those scrambles are so important in a fight where you're in the clinch all the time. And with Petrášek, I think he's probably a little bit better on the feet, but even his punches are a little bit loopy. And he's got some takedowns of his own, right? But I think he lacks all of the scrambling skills that Mick Stanton does. Pretty much everything I like about Mick Stanton is the things I don't like about Petrášek. And I think I like in aggregate more things about Milo Petrášek, but the one thing I like about Mick Stanton is just enough better and more important to the point where I think he takes this fight. I think you're going to see a lot of kind of wild exchanges on the feet turn into weird grappling portions of the fight. And then that weird grappling portion of the fight, I think you're going to see Mick Stanton on the top at the end. And whether he gets a submission or a ground and pound finish, or he just does enough on all the judges' scorecards because he's on top at the end of these weird exchanges, I don't think it matters because I think he wins the fight any of those different ways. So give me Mick Stanton.
The Hoyton Weasel is the pick. Hoyton is a town in the metropolitan borough of Knowsley, Merseyside, England. It's right beside Liverpool.
Yeah.
So there you go. So it's true. So now he's the Hoyton Weasel. Hopefully he
I don't think he would appreciate that. I don't think anybody wants to be the Weasel.
Yeah.
You know what
I was going
to what animal Jim Miller once was going to use as a nickname? Because he settled on A10. But I actually talked to him about how he had workshopped a animal before that.
Is it a possum?
That's a really good guess. I have a friend who uses the Princess Possum as her nickname, though.
Really? Because they're gross. Possums are ugh.
I think she has a possum, though, to be fair.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Let her rip, Gumby. What?
It's a warthog. He was almost the warthog Jim Miller.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. I think that works.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fitting. But then he was like, I don't know if I want to be the warthog wherever I go.
Yeah. You know the Princess Possum is a sad guitar, banjo, folk, one-man band as well?
Oh, she plays the banjo too, so that's probably where she got the idea.
Really?
Yeah, she does. No, legit. Yeah.
Gumby has interesting friends.
I have weird friends.
A female possum that plays the banjo. All right. That is it for Tip Sport Game Changer. To the co-main event, David Kozma. He's from the Czech Republic versus Robert Pukač. He is from, I believe, I'm not going to say it because I want the Europeans.
You're going to get the wrong one.
Slovak Republic. I would have been right. So yeah, so they would have been countrymen back in the day, but now it's splintered off. So Czech Republic versus Slovak Republic, 3 5-minute rounds, 170. I'll tell you about Pukač first. 18, 13, and 1, 3 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted 3 times, 5 and 8 in Oktagon. He's won 2 straight, and 2 straight sounds good. 3 and 6 over his last 9, not so good. 2012 Pro MMA debut, 0-1 is pro grappler, plus 200. This is the widest odds we're going to cover today, which goes to show how Oktagon knows what they're doing. Kozma.
I'll talk about wider ones later.
Okay, Kozma is the Pink Panther, 32 and 14, 9 knockouts, 12 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted 7 times, 12 and 3 on Oktagon. The former champion of the promotion. He's lost 2 straight and won 2 of his last 5. Both of his past 2 losses have come via TKO. Regional champion, 2015 Pro MMA debut, an inch of height over Pukač, minus 275.
I'm actually going to go underdog here on some of the biggest odds we have. I'm going to go Pukač. And the reason why is that, like, if you watch Kozma's, fight in general, he's really good on top. I really like his control when he's wrestling. If he gets you down, his wrestling's pretty good. Not as good as his top control, but it's good. My big problem is just like, he's gotten caught reaching multiple times, reaching real bad in his last fight. The fight before that, reaching for a takedown, he had like a single leg and was just like holding on to it for dear life, and then just got jacked up while he was holding on to that single leg and knocked out. So like, he's been knocked out twice in a row, and in 3 of his last 5, he's been knocked out. And like, none of them were light knockouts. None of them were like, he got, TKO, standing TKO.
He got buzzed.
He got starched 3 times.
Yes.
And that's starting to be a problem. And with Pukač, so first of all, he's plotting. He's not going to be as light on his feet as Kozma is, but he does throw big because he's planted so well. And I think with Kozma, sort of reaching too much for shots and having been buzzed as many times as he has, I think it's going to open up a realm for Pukač to land something big here. And then in addition to that, I don't necessarily know that I've seen enough of Robert Pukač's defensive wrestling to know that he could stuff Kozma, but I have seen some of his offensive really lately, and it's really surprisingly good for a guy who fights the way he does, because you don't usually see guys who are like slow and plodding on the feet then shoot like nice takedowns. But I watched one of his recent fights. He got in under the hips. He locked his hands behind the hips. Like, just a lot of things that I could feel, like pretty good about backing a guy like that. So for me, yeah, at plus 200, a guy who's got big knockout power versus a guy who's starting to look chinny at this stage in his career, you got to give it to the guy who looks like he's going to be able to land the big one. So I'll take Robert Pukač here with the KO power.
Yes, yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. You really don't want to pay minus 275 on a former champ who's getting knocked out now too, because generally guys,
5 is a lot.
Yeah, and once you've climbed the top of the mountain, you generally don't get back up to the top. That's just the way this sport goes. So why do you think Pukač is such a big dog here?
I mean, I'm guessing it's the bad record combined with the fact that Kozma is a wild fan favorite. Yeah. He was a guy who everybody loved. They really thought he was going to be champion for a really long time. And was it Serdu who took the belt off of him? Ion Serdu? Or
I'm not sure, but I know the name.
Yeah. I can't remember who took the belt off him. But then, like, since he's had the belt, he's like a fan favorite to watch. He's fun. But because there's something fun about going in there and swinging wild and getting knocked out. But like, for me, 3 of 5 being KO'd, not being pretty in the process, like, that's enough to fade even against a guy with a spotty record.
Yep, I agree. Tapology people do not agree. 93% for Kozma, so you may be getting a nice line here.
Well, we already know what the line is. It's plus 200. But yes, the line
that's right. I'm sorry. Yeah,
the line might continue to go up.
Yeah.
But that's another example of how I think the books are pricing in the knockout power of Pukač and the bad chin of Kozma, while also recognizing the money's going to come in on Kozma.
Yeah, get that money. Continue and put the money in the other side for us, people, please. All right, before we move on to the main event and all of the other picks that Gumby has for us, I've got to call up the right doc here and get you the proper ad reads so Gumby doesn't have to cut and paste once again. We're going to tell you about Underdog, NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever your sport, you can cash in big with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em, and Gumby's going to help you cash in big right now. He's always got to play ready first. Do you have these prepared in advance, or do you just?
No, I'm usually off the cuff. The Thursday basketball games, we'll go back to the hardcore. The Bulls are going to come out of the break and play the Knicks in one of the early games on Thursday. Ao Dosunmu has been putting up rare amounts of points for the Bulls. Over his last 5 games, he's averaging just a whisker under 15 points per game, which is pretty high for him. My guess is that projection will come in quite a bit lower than that. So I'll take the higher on Ao Dosunmu's points.
All right. So take that and take this. More importantly, take our promo code for you, MMA SGPN. If you enter that, you can claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And who doesn't need bonus cash? I bet you any amount. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And SGPN's partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build a model for you. College basketball, NBA, golf, Rhythm has it all. Horford game props, yes, I said they have it all, and that's definitely part of all. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right. Main event time is for a belt, a shiny Oktagon flyweight championship. The champ, Sam Creasey from England. This is his first title defense against Beno Adamia. He is from Georgia, I believe.
Yes.
Georgians are starting slowly taking over the sport. 5-5 in rounds, 125. I'll tell you about the challenger first. Adamia, 11-8-2, 1 knockout, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out 6 times, submitted twice, so finishing all his losses. 2-0 in Octagon, though. He's won 5 straight, so his record was much worse before. 6-8-2 before this run. He's won 5 straight. He's not lost since August 2019. Just took him some time to catch on to the sport. Used to fight at bantamweight, 2015 pro MMA debut, 0-1 in pro boxing, 8 years younger than Creasey, 2 inches taller, plus 150. Uriah, U-R-A-I. I can't remember what that means.
Uriah? I don't know.
Uriah? Why? You don't know either?
I didn't even ask him.
The man?
No, I interviewed him this week. I didn't even ask him.
Oh, my God, Gumby. All right. That used to be your thing. That's always your thing. It's going to be a good interview anyway. I guarantee it. Creasey is 19-5, 5 knockouts, 8 submissions. He's been submitted 4 times. 1-0 Octagon ended champion. He walked right in and said, I'll take this. Thank you very much. He's won 3 straight and 4 of 6. He's not lost since December 2022. Used to be the Cage Warriors champion, so his mantle is getting full. Used to fight at 135, 2014 pro MMA debut, minus 188. Why is he not in the UFC? Octagon pays probably better, at least to start.
Well, and probably at his stage of his career too, because not to be rude, he is 35. You know,
UFC,
UFC,
I don't as old as you.
UFC, I don't think is looking for a lot of 35-year-old flyweights at this point in time. So like, yeah, you know, I think Creasey would have been a fun one to throw on like the Ultimate Fighter since they got a flyweight season coming on. But, you know, I think, you know, asking him to take 5-5 or whatever it takes to get him in the house is probably not going to hold the feather to being a European champion with like massive stadiums cheering for you and nice sponsorship deals. So I'm going to take Creasey in this one. I think Adamia, the big issue with me here is that he's not going to be light enough on his feet to catch Creasey. You know, he's heavy-footed, big wind-up, stuff like that. Creasey really light on his feet. I love the jab and his use of range. He is a little bit shorter, but I think the way he uses range in this case is going to be playing up really well. So I expect Creasey to land that jab early and often, just kind of frustrate Beno. I'll also say in general, the takedown defense of Sam Creasey looks pretty damn good. If you look in that Aaron Abbey fight to win the title, you know, Abbey shoots a lot of takedowns. It's something we know about him. You know, Creasey does the right thing, gets out from underneath him, and then occasionally like surprises him with like a Michailidis. He goes for, which is a modified guillotine for those of you who are not jiu-jitsu minded, but like it's a modified guillotine, which basically is super tight even if it's not on the ground. So it's super helpful from a standing position. So Sam Creasey likes to use that on takedown defenses. I think you could see him catch Beno Adamia here with that. And then in addition to that, like, I think as this fight wears on, I think Creasey's cardio is just too much better to the point where Adamia might get tired late in this fight. And I think you can even see Creasey do a little bit of grappling. I know it's not his like forte and the thing he wants to go to the most, but if he sees success on the mat or sees chokes starting to open up in the exchanges early, and then he sees a tired opponent, I could see him going back to that. But in general, I just think he's going to be so much faster on the feet. He fights really long, and I think that's going to be trouble for Beno here. So give me Sam Creasey. And I think that number is a pretty darn good one for the champ.
Yeah, nice. All right. Here is a recap, and then we'll get you some lightning round picks, and then we'll get out of your ears and eyes and wherever else we are on you until tomorrow at the very least. You got Creasey. He has got Pukač. He has got Michailidis. He has got Cordero. Did I miss someone?
Mick
Stanton. I'm sorry. He's got Stanton as well. All either dogs or very close to pick them. So this could be very profitable.
Creasey's negative 200.
Yeah. Creasey's minus 188. I'm going to give you him.
Oh, he's gone down a little bit.
Exactly. All right. So I was going to say, this could really booster your numbers for the year, right?
Well, we got 5 cards this weekend in 25 plays. Feel free to listen back to all the other episodes. So this could be a week that either sets us up for a very big year or has a hole that we have to dig out of. Hopefully the former, not the latter.
Yeah, it's not we. If we lose, it's you. You have a hole to dig up. If we win, then I say, yeah, thanks. I tell the fighters, oh, thanks. Yeah, you made us look real smart. So anyhow, lightning rounds, that bam boom pow.
Yeah. First one I'm going to take is Nico Samsonidze, a fighter out of Germany who I really like, coming off of a pretty nice win over Daniel Torres. Been off at negative 300, but I think even at that price, really reasonable price, good one to throw in a parlay. Maybe you see like him and Creasey in a parlay and help those odds come down and at a pretty respectable line, and feel pretty good about both of those. And then the other one I'm going to take is Aitana Alvarez. I know her record sucks. It's like 7-7. She's such like a bulldog, and I know I've backed her once or twice, and it's not always come up roses. But man, like, she's so tough in the clinch. She throws so hard. She's just like a little spark plug to the point where like I always somehow trust her. And the books seem to be giving her more of a chance here too. She's only plus 135, but I still think there's value on her as an underdog here. So Aitana Alvarez and Nico Samsonidze are my 2 lightning round picks.
Maybe her nickname could be Pitbull. What do you think?
It is Pitbull, isn't it?
For real?
Yeah, I'm almost positive it is now that you say that.
Because he says she fights like a little bulldog.
Hang on,
a bulldog wouldn't have been funny, so Pitbull would have been funny.
I think it might be Pitbull. You go ahead and start doing your end of the episode.
That's so fantastic.
I'll report out.
All right, so you are all set now for Oktagon. Here's my ending spiel. You can get more Oktagon picks or talk or chatter or just general MMA. Good vibes, and it is all basically good vibes in our Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Same as on YouTube. We've got good vibes there as well. MMA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tell your friends.
It is Pitbull. It is
amazing.
Pitbull.
Amazing. Well, it must fit because you described her basically as a bulldog. So where else can you check us out? Twitter, SGPN MMA. Gumby runs that for us. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Check out my Substack. Enter my pick'em contest for this weekend for free at moneymma.substack.com. Listen to Gumby's Top Turtle MMA podcast. You can listen to Sam Creasey talk about his fight that we just broke down. You also listen to Mansour Abdul Malik. Is that right?
That's right. Those two
I got the
my
name right. 3 names I remember. So a couple of top tier guests. Check out Top Turtle MMA podcast. And we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. You get a cool toque like mine. Maybe you think it's cool. Or we have cool hats. We have lots of good stuff. So check that out. And sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get bonus content. And I was remiss the past 2 episodes to remind you, if you are signing up for Underdog Fantasy or mybookie.ag, MMA SGPN is your code to get bonus stuff and to get us credited for it. And you are all set. We'll be back tomorrow with some more UFC. It will be me, Princess Possum, Jeff Fox, Mr. Comeback, Gumby Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.